Nation, welcome into the DNVR Buffs Podcast, presented by Illegal Pete's, everyone's go-to spot for burritos, buddies, and beers. RK is out twerking once again. That means the man, the myth, the legend is back.
Oh, man, we're doing it. What
What's
a
up,
time to
Dre?
be alive. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm great, bro. How are you?
Doing good. Doing good. Love that Buff Nation to open up the show. Mixing
figured-
it up a little.
I figured you kind of got to keep it, I guess. I mean, it does feel weird when I don't do it. So
No, you got to keep it.
So even if RK isn't here to,
Oh, no,
bring it
you
out,
better. You better.
Yeah, we're sticking with it.
We're enjoying some nice little peach rings here
Yeah,
on
some
set.
Circle K peach rings.
On-set and
peach
offset.
rings. Yeah.
Good
They're
stuff.
delicious.
Good
They are
stuff. And
delicious.
you put out the bat signal, and the bat signal said we're breaking down defensive schemes, and I gave you the Mbappe meme.
Oh, we're
No matter what, I'm there.
the off season has treated us pretty kindly, but we have had to stray away from actual football talk at times. Today is all football talk, though,
Yes, top to bottom.
top to bottom.
Top to bottom football show brought to you this Monday on a lovely President's Day.
Yeah, happy holidays to everyone who
All right,
celebrates.
let's go. Let's go.
How was your first Sunday without the NFL? What did you do?
I don't know, just my family needs stuff, so I do stuff for my family is basically what I do. I try not to think about it.
Yeah, do you have that void in your chest?
Yeah, and that started, gosh, a month and a half ago. I mean, it's really like
Fair.
the start of the new year. Once bowl games are done, it's kind of like,
Yep.
rough.
Yeah, you can
Try
see
to watch
the
I try to watch college hoops, getting into tennis.
tennis.
Yeah, you just find some side hobbies, try to occupy
Daytona
the
500
mind.
today?
I'd be in on that. I've seen some good Daytona 500
I
gear.
know. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll be watching that.
I'm down.
We got F1 starting testing this week.
Right.
It's racing season, Dre.
It is racing season, I've this morning to kind of get the juices going. I checked some DraftKings odds for quarterbacks who will be in this draft class, their next team, and other odds for the big free agents. It's just wait and see mode, no NBA even. It's
Yeah,
a bit lackadaisical, man.
Yeah.
Bit lackadaisical.
it was a
Yeah.
rough weekend.
Yeah, it wasn't awesome.
But we are about, I think we're now under a month away from spring practices starting.
Oh my gosh.
How about that?
What a time to be alive. You love that.
CU's getting geared up too because they put out their spring roster update on Friday.
Look at that, huh?
I didn't know this happened until during our show on Friday, so unfortunately I had to wait.
Perfect.
Some people have already
Great
kind
for
of picked
content.
through it, but
Please.
there's a lot to get to here.
Yes.
So you can go to cubuffs.com, just go to the roster. It's all right there.
Boom.
Well, just starting, I guess, in numerical order, we're going down the single digits. There's some space, including number 6. Tarvaris Dawson isn't listed on the roster anymore.
Okay. Do you have a candidate for number 6?
I do not. Not right now. Not yet. Not yet. Too early for that, Dre. But
What was Hodge wearing at Liberty?
I will get
I
that.
can look it up. I can
Okay.
go to your next point.
But we've talked a lot about the wide receiver unit and all these guys coming in this offseason, and a lot of people were like, why? We have all these guys. And it's like, well, yeah, but writing's probably on the wall for a few of them. Tarvaris Dawson just isn't listed on the roster anymore. He hasn't stated an intent to enter the portal publicly, but kind of feels like he might have told people at CU what he's planning on doing. I don't know. I don't know what he's doing, but he's not on the roster.
How big of a bummer would that be?
I mean, he had a great game against Nebraska,
Yep.
scored that touchdown,
Yep.
but kind of just disappeared later in the year.
Yeah.
Has great speed, obviously, is a certified deep threat, and we saw that play out. But we have a lot of speedy, fast wide receivers, including a grad transfer we just brought in who's going to play in LaJohntay Wester.
And that's one of those positions where the more Scullies you can free up, the better.
Yes, exactly. So,
Hodge 24 at Liberty.
Okay. Preston Hodge and many other guys who committed this offseason listed on this roster, but no numbers. Makes sense. We had to compete for them last year.
Gosh, last year, way fewer numbers than this, huh?
That's true. Everyone loved the number competition though last spring. People were just asking me in the office, like, "Oh, we get any numbers today?" Like, people were bought in.
It was fun. I mean, it was a good, like, if nothing, Coach Prime really knows content and how to like give you things throughout the off season. He does a marvelous job.
He's a master at it. And then if you go down to the bottom of the numbers, another big one here, 95, Bishop Thomas, listed on the spring roster. We didn't know. So, did you watch the whole Coach Prime documentary?
No.
Very last episode, we get like you know how they end documentaries, the white text on just a plain black screen of what's going on and stuff. It said Bishop Thomas was not on the roster for whatever reason. Like, he's just away from the team for right now. And his 2024 status was pending, basically, whatever happened.
Mm-hmm.
He's on the roster, though.
He's on the roster,
survived.
and not to jump segments, but I think that's really great news because I think he fits as well as just about anyone in this new defensive scheme the Buffs might be rocking.
Right.
So, yeah, that's big time.
It is big time. Bishop Thomas was... he wasn't quite an impact player last year, but he was a player that you noticed when he was out there, and you noticed when he wasn't. You noticed when he wasn't healthy, when he had the club on his hand. He flying down the field on kickoffs, tackling guys in the ASU game and stuff. Like,
He moves amazingly well.
yeah, we talked a lot about Bishop Thomas last offseason. Phenomenal athlete. Happy to see he's kind of getting it together. So it seems. But again, if you go down to the bottom of this roster, there are some new names, some walk-ons. There are guys that we know who have committed. And I'm assuming if your name is on this list, you are in Boulder. You're training with the team. So Quincy Wiggins, we've been asked about him. He's on there. LaJohntay Wester we know is there. Jalen Wester we know is there, but they're on there. Wade Twins, of course. Herman Smith's listed on there, former JSU safety who just committed a few weeks ago. We've seen Seaton, we've seen Okunlola, we've seen Chidozie, Shema Mateer, Justin Mayers, of course, all these guys. From what I have, I guess, cross-examined and looked at, there's only a handful of guys who actually aren't on this roster who have already committed.
Yeah.
Will Shepard is one, the former Vanderbilt wide receiver.
Yeah.
He said, I think on Twitter earlier in the year that he's got to come in the summer. He's a grad transfer. He's still got to graduate, it sounds like.
Right.
Freshmen, we talked about them at the Super Bowl, Cam Michael and Draylon Miller, both finishing out their basketball seasons in high school and finishing high school.
Yeah, finishes in high school.
So they aren't on the roster yet either.
Okay.
Every other freshman is on, except for Kieran Garcia. He just committed around signing day. The linebacker out of Fort Myers. He's not on there either. But looking through transfer commitments, I mean, these guys are all here. Cordell Russell wasn't listed. Baby T.O., we talked about him on Friday.
Yeah.
Who else? I think that might be it. I think everyone else is here.
Compared to last year, how many more guys are on campus and ready to go and getting coached up and getting their work in the weight room and everything, you know? I mean, because this is... The roster hadn't even gone through the next turnover at this point last year.
No, we still had a bunch of 2022 kids on this roster this time last year.
So BJ, already being set like this is massive.
Definitely. BJ Green also not on the roster, the former Arizona State edge. He had to flip because Kalen DeBoer left Washington. That's who he committed to. That's when he reopened his commitment and picked Colorado. But that's, to your point, what you just said, I think 6 to 8 guys out of everyone who's not here. So it's going to be great competition this spring. And I think we're going to get a real idea of who's going to be starting and who's going to be playing on the field.
What's Scully count at?
I don't know. Scully count's irrelevant until after May. It doesn't matter. So many guys are coming in and out. It doesn't matter.
No, totally.
What are you laughing at?
I just wanted a hilarious answer. I mean, how would you know exactly how many scholars? You know, it's a crazy question.
Exactly.
You're not like a scholarship accountant. You know, you have a job.
I mean, we ask Neely or someone, and it's like he doesn't know. It's like he's got to ask someone else in the team to get an answer, and they're probably not even concerned about it either. So yeah, pretty much irrelevant. But that's it. There's some position changes. Of course, Savell Smalls, we already talked about, moving to tight end.
Yeah.
6'3", 260 at tight end.
I like that.
That works.
Where was he before?
That was the 5-star out of Washington.
Oh.
Yeah, on the edge.
Yeah. That I like a lot. And that's one of those spots where, you know, you want more competition, more bodies.
Yeah, and they need bigger bodies too, because
yes.
Credit to what Mikey Harrison did last year. He's not laying out anyone on the defensive side of the ball.
Right, and I mean, with both offensive and defensive coordinators, they're leaning into more pro schemes.
Mm-hmm.
So tight end is a start to that.
Yep.
And having more bodies there, more size, more, you know, ability to do more than just having a bona fide wide receiver line up next to your right tackle.
Exactly. I would expect to see more tight ends on the field this year too. Two redshirt freshmen who hardly played last year, Isaiah Harge and Adam Hopkins.
Yep.
Adam Hopkins was the 4-star wide receiver out of Georgia. Both of them switched to defensive back officially on the roster.
We just talked about being able to free scholarships up at the wide receiver position. Do you like those moves?
I don't know. We didn't really see him last year. I thought, we talked about Adam Hopkins and Omari Miller a lot. We figured one of those 4 stars would have to break out at wide receiver. It was Miller. And Hopkins was kind of going through that switch. He was wearing the gray jersey, the two-way jersey that Travis wears during practices last year. So was Isaiah Harge. So they were kind of working both ways, but now listed at defensive back. Number 23, Carter Stoutmeyer.
Yep, this was an interesting one.
Played cornerback last year, had the labrum issue that he went through all throughout the season, really. I mean, he wasn't healthy for most of the year.
Right, and he was a freshman who played really well early in the season, and I remember just a few times I was on the pod during the year, that was a question we got a lot, was like, what happened to Carter Stoudemire?
Yep. I mean, Coach Prime, he loved him. He was talking him up a lot as one of the most impressive freshmen. Anyways, he's moved officially to safety. What do you think?
You've got a lot of versatility at the safety position. A lot of guys who can do a lot of different things. Obviously, those more in the box, strong safety types like Trevor, who really converted to linebacker last year. Shilo. How they can use Hodge is very intriguing. And then Carter Stoudemire being put in that room, I think, is really nice on top of Cam Solomon-Craig, Greg. Who maybe is the most conventional set and forget 2-deep safety that can do a little bit of everything, right? In that group of like the 5 guys I just listed off. And Stoudemire, that coverage ability is nice. Arguably, you could say with Hodge, the best cover safety you have, maybe the most athletic, fastest, and more of a deep guy.
Yes.
And if you're playing a 4-2-5, you're going to need to rotate 5 guys. So, I mean, you need a lot of options.
Or more. And we'll get to that in the second segment.
Yeah.
We will talk about Coach Livingston and what he's bringing to the table here. A few other guys. You mentioned Cam Slusher, of course, at the safety room. But 43, Trevor Woods, still listed at safety, not listed at linebacker.
Makes sense. It's a big year for that linebacker room. Big year, man. I'm honestly surprised those guys didn't add more competition in the offseason,
They got Jalen Wester, and then, they brought in Kieran Garcia, the 3-star young guy. But we've talked a lot about these. They brought in like 4 or 5 freshman linebackers last year. So they've been kind of developing that room. We didn't see a lot of them on the field at all.
Right.
So we'll see what happens, who breaks out this spring. Chaz
that's
Wallace.
an intriguing group to follow for sure.
Chaz Wallace put out a tweet over the weekend saying he's up to like 310, 315 now. Listed at 295 on this roster, though.
Oh, my.
Yeah. Yeah.
Chaz that big.
Mm-hmm.
Pushing to be the biggest D lineman on the team?
Him or Torian Carter, the former Arkansas kid. He is a grad transfer. Where is he? 6'3", 303 is what he listed. And Quinn Barnes is listed at 315.
I like that.
They're bigger.
I
much
like
bigger.
that a lot. Yep.
Tyler Brown, still listed at offensive guard, not listed at center. Who else? I think that's about it from last year's guys. Shane Coates listed at defensive line. I know he said that he'll be playing more end this year, his more natural position, but still listed as D-line. Also, if you go to...
Makes sense.
What's that?
Makes sense, right? You want him to be an inside-out guy. Maybe first two downs, still playing inside from time to time, third down, or vice versa.
I mean, if he's still around 275, what he's listed at, he's a good 30, 40 pounds smaller than the three guys we just listed at defensive linemen.
For sure. Yeah, so you rely on him on the run more on the outside as a defensive end, and then maybe can rush inside from time to time too.
Yeah, they definitely seem more versatile along the defensive line.
Bigger, more versatile.
Yes.
Not bad. More mature, a little older as well.
Oh, definitely, yeah. And just more like pedigree too was what they brought in. More proven talent also.
Right. It's a good point.
If you go to the right side of that page, you can see the coaching staff there. A few things. Robert Livingston does have the defensive coordinator tag. He also has the safeties tag, something that we thought we'd be getting with him. He's basically just slipping right into where Charles Kelly was. His entire role, defensive coordinator, safeties.
And the guy who was coaching DBs, coaching the secondary in Cincinnati for the Bengals. So natural to have him still work on that. And that's where a lot of your back end scheme can be worked on. So having a little more hands-on work with that group, I think, makes a lot of sense.
Definitely. And then Coach Sal, still listed on the coaching staff here. I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but he's listed here. Last I heard, we haven't gotten a confirmation either way if he's coming back or not.
What would you bet?
I don't know. I guess I'd lean that he might fancy going back home, but I don't know. He's going through some health stuff right now, so
Oh boy,
we'll let Coach Sal get on the mend and announce on his own what he plans on doing.
big time.
But that's about it, really. I didn't notice any new faces that we haven't talked about on this coaching staff, recruiting staff altogether. It's pretty much the same people in charge last year. Going to be the same people in charge this season.
There you go. Aside from new coordinators. And
Right. I mean, yeah, of course. Pat Shermer's on there, Robert Livingston, but Jason Phillips, Phil Lodeholt, but it's all the same personnel staff.
Right.
I didn't see any new grad assistants or anything yet. We'll see with Warren Sapp. That's what he said.
That's right.
He said March.
Right. It is in March, so we shall wait and see.
Yes. But that's about it. I saw someone ask about Brandon Davis Swain. Yes, he's listed. He's been in Boulder. We've seen him in videos.
Yeah, and he's definitely on there, on that roster. Another, important piece.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, they still brought in 2 freshman defensive linemen. After talking all offseason about how they got to rebuild the trenches, they held on to these 2 commitments that they've had for close to a year now at this point.
Right.
So they saw something.
Yeah.
But that's about it. You can head on over to the CU Buffs website and check out the whole roster right there.
Check it out.
Let's take a moment to chill, Dre.
Let's do it.
Shout out to our new sponsor.
Dude, we did it.
Extremely happy to announce this one.
Wow.
Coors Light.
Coors Light.
Coors Light. If you didn't notice the
Holy
bucket on the
cow.
set, it's right there. Shout out to them. I mean, you talk about chilling. I can't imagine chilling any harder than with a Coors Light.
Yeah, that's right. Chilling with the boys,
Yep.
Frosty Coors Light. They make them to chill.
Exactly.
So it's always nice and cool, and you're chill.
No doubt.
And we know all about that.
Absolutely.
Well, that's kind of the Coloradoan mentality, yeah.
Definitely.
We're pretty chill.
And then I was actually...
I need to remind myself of that from time to time.
I was watching a video, some random video on YouTube about some guy like going to like the Champions League final or something.
Uh-huh.
And they stopped at a pub. They're drinking Coors Light over there across the pond.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's incredible.
I know. I was like, that's crazy.
Dude, what a vibe. They just want to chill like us.
Exactly. So whatever you're doing, however you want to do it, make sure it's with a Coors Light in hand. When it's time to chill, Coors Light is the beer I reach for. So when you want to hit reset, grab the beer that's made to chill. Get Coors Light delivered straight to your door with Instacart by going to CoorsLight.com/DNVR. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Woo! I love Shelly's hype. I love today how hyped the chat has been for us.
I know.
Bringing them Coors Light. And yeah, check out that URL Jake gave you. Check out some Coors Light.
And then our wonderful friends over at Game Time.
Oh, yes, Jake.
Sign up today with the code BUFFS, BUFFS, for $20 off your first purchase. What's on your Game Time docket this summer? Just Avs and Nuggets, basically?
Avs Nuggets, see how deep we can go in the playoffs.
Maybe some PIDs?
PIDs for sure. You know, Buffs women's team makes the tourney. You'll have a few home games.
Oh, definitely.
And the tickets on Game Time will be pretty reasonable. Then I got to get back to, you know, Coors Field, watching some Rockies games, you know. So there's a lot, Jake. There's a lot. And I'm committed to watch more college football this fall as well.
In person?
Yes, in person.
Excellent. We'd love to have you.
Dude. Yeah, I know. I know. Nothing like Folsom.
Well, Dre, download the Game Time app, create an account, use that promo code BUFFS, BUFFS. You get $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code BUFFS, BUFFS, for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Hell yeah, chat.
Let's go.
All right. I wrote something over the weekend that I'm pretty proud of.
You should be. You should be. You were in your bag for this one, man. You really did a terrific job breaking down Robert Livingston, the connections in his career, the scheme he comes from. I love that you started that off, not even with like what to expect from a coaching on field, but with his background from a scouting perspective in the Southeast. And I mean, all the connections and why that's such a natural fit with Coach Prime. So this is why, you know, Jake's a lot more than just a pretty face, and you guys get excited when he's going no hat on us. Dude knows ball like few others. It's why him and I bonded early on. So
yes, sir.
Go to thednvr.com and check that out. Outstanding piece. So in more spoken word, what were your biggest takeaways from this hire, man?
Well,
who comes from such an exciting defense.
He does. We've talked about this really more than anything when it comes to Robert Livingston, is how he was mentored by Lou Anarumo over at Cincinnati, who is the Bengals defensive coordinator, has become widely known as one of the better defensive coordinators in the league. Yeah, Cincinnati wasn't great this last year. Joe Burrow was hurt going back to like July.
Yeah.
It was just a rough year for them, and defensively they didn't do great, but defensively, they also lost their best player. They lost Jesse Bates. They're kind of in a, I don't want to say a rebuild, but they're still like trying to rediscover their identity, I guess, on defense. So, I went and dug into his background. First off, I think, and this is why I started this segment on draft and developing off about it. We have to understand what the Cincinnati Bengals are to understand what Robert Livingston has accomplished in his time so far in the NFL.
Yeah.
Because they have the smallest scouting staff in the NFL.
Right. I
Easily.
love that you went back to this. Yes.
I mean, it's not even close. It's something like 6 to 8 scouts, and the next closest is like 15. Like it's an old school organization. They don't have a GM listed on their front office staff. It's like the owner and Duke Tobin, I think his name is, like the director of player personnel or the acting GMs. And you basically got to like know ball or you got to know someone to get in with this team.
Yep. Yeah, and it's a grind, but you're going to have your opinion heard.
Exactly. So he started off, the Bengals director of operations retired in 2012. That's a big role. Mm-hmm. And so they just hired 2 scouts to fulfill that role.
Which is crazy.
Coach Livingston being one of them.
Crazy.
So he comes in only 2 years into his coaching career at Furman and then Vanderbilt and is scouting the ACC and the SEC for the Cincinnati Bengals in the NFL.
As their Southeastern scout.
Yes.
Do you know it's just the ACC or SEC, or do you assume there's probably like...
That's what it
hey,
said
Western
on the Bengals
Alabama,
site.
We got this guy, Tyreek Hill, you need to go check out. Or
I mean, I'm sure definitely. If you only have
right,
8
you're
people.
the Southeast scout. You have the whole region, so
Yes.
it's not even just that area. It's like...
Yes.
I mean, and for most scouting, regional scouts, your headliner is going to be your Southeast regional scout. It's just how it is.
So he was hired in 2012, right before the 2012 NFL draft. Probably didn't do hardly any work on that draft.
Yep.
So 2013 draft would have been his first class. That year they drafted Gio Bernard.
Yep.
Out of North Carolina. In 2014, they also drafted Jeremy Hill, A.J. McCarron, Sean Williams. And Sean Williams is the guy that when I started to dig in, I was like, this is the guy that shows exactly what Coach Livingston can do. Because he scouted that region, scouted the player, they draft the player.
Yeah.
2 years later, Mike Zimmer is out, by the way. Common thread there. And Robert Livingston gets promoted to coach defensive quality control or something like that, working with the safeties.
Yeah.
And he gets to help transition Sean Williams from a cornerback into a safety. And from 26 to 2019, Sean Williams starts in 57 games, has 393 tackles, 12 interceptions, and 26 pass breakups.
Yeah. And I mean, think of some of the different guys we've talked about just in this show who could make that conversion from corner to safety, who might really benefit from that.
Exactly.
Also, like, when you go to stuff like the Senior Bowl Combine, Pro Days, whatchamacallit, you can see the scouts and who carries more weight, who's kind of the one that all the other scouts look to for data points, for running the show, you know, keeping things on schedule, what have you. The ones who other scouts are going to pick their ear. You might catch a few backroom conversations. And what you also pick up on is after a team's drafted, who the scouts they trust the most are when you see, oh, gee, like I remember there was once this Falcons scout, their Western scout, who I was at Pro Days with, and then it was like the Falcons that year, 5 of 6 guys they drafted were all from the West, you know? It was like, wow, that guy really, and since has been promoted. I actually think the Broncos have since hired him in a bigger scouting role. And when you draft 4 guys in one class, it means your opinion really carries weight.
Over 2 classes.
Well, over 2. I mean, you're really...
Those are just the
you have a
headliners,
lot of say.
though.
You have a lot of say right there, yeah.
Well, and then the other thing with scouting, you cross-check. So while the Southeast might be your region, like you're probably going to have to cross-check another scout's work. So you're probably watching guys Northwest, Northeast, you know, Midwest, all over the country.
Yeah.
So while the scouts do have like areas, they do focus on more than just those areas.
For sure. And I mean, if you were looking for the most obvious connection for him to coach Prime or even the college game, it starts with all the hours and years he put in as a scout and knowing the Southeast region inside out.
Exactly. I mean, we see it on Well Off all throughout practices, all the scouts there. Like, you're a pro scout, but you're basically working in college football. Like, that's what you're covering.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, 100%. And how that translates from a, you know, talent evaluation, recruiting standpoint, obviously.
The next guy would be Jesse Bates. I mean, I don't think he had anything to do with drafting him, obviously. He was a coach at this point. He was the safeties coach. I'm sure he had some say, but Jesse Bates comes in 2018, 54th overall pick in that draft.
Yep.
And he's like their leading tackler as a rookie. Sean Williams has his best season playing next to Jesse Bates, both at safety.
Mm-hmm.
And Jesse Bates is now widely recognized as one of the best safeties in the NFL, if not the best.
Right.
Second team All-Pro in 2020. Helped lead the Bengals to that Super Bowl 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm. And that's another part of his coaching experience that's going to translate directly to college in ways that other pro coaches don't have that, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is what a college coach does all the time. You recruit them, you scout them, you bring them to your team, and having known their game that intimately for having worked with them for probably 4 years as high schoolers,
right.
anywhere from 2 to 4 years, then now you know how to develop them, how to coach them, how to insert them in your scheme and try to get the best out of them. Few, special coaches in the NFL have that experience of going from scouting them to then having to actually coach them and develop them and fit them into your scheme. He did that, and you're using two of the most glowing examples of that.
Exactly. Then on to Lou Anarumo. Again, if you go on over to DNVR.com, it's called Why Coach Prime Hired Robert Livingston as Colorado's defensive coordinator. The whole middle section is all film takeaways. It's very basic, cut and dry stuff. I didn't want to get too in the weeds just because there's a good chance that, NFL defenses, for one, are so different than college defenses, but Robert Livingston's going to create his own defense. Like, he's going to pull in some influences for sure, but it's going to be his.
Yep. Which is a great point. And what I liked is you mostly focused on the back end, how the back end is being coached up, because that's what we can read the most into and how that'll translate to his experience with the Buffs. You didn't focus on the front too much.
Exactly.
But after we talk about the back end, we can probably touch on a few things on the front as well.
So Lou Anarumo, he's got 2 nicknames, Dr. Lou and the Mad Scientist.
Yeah.
I think the guy knows how to call a defense with those names. He's
it also, that just goes to show you like how well respected he is.
Yes.
In a different era of NFL, the last few coaching cycles have been so dominated by offensive coaches.
Right.
In a past year of the NFL where that wasn't the case, Lou's probably got a job 2 off seasons ago as a head coach.
Everything I read over the weekend was saying like this guy's going to be a head coach soon enough. Like they were a lot of articles written about him maybe moving on this offseason.
Right.
Do you know now he's the longest tenured defensive coordinator in the NFL?
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's so much turnover.
Yeah.
Wow.
Insane, huh?
That's nuts.
Anyways, he got those nicknames because this defense is... What's the word?
Versatile.
Multiple, whatever.
Malleable's a good one, yeah.
All those. Like, he changes everything up. Dynamic. There you go. He changes everything up week to week, depending on who they play. They'll move around the fronts. They'll drop safeties into the box. They'll play 1 high. They'll play 2 high. They'll do late shifts in the back end, all that stuff.
Unpredictable. This isn't some guy who's like, hey, I'm Gus Bradley. I play a cover 3 press, and that's what we're going to do.
Exactly.
Or like, I'm Tony Dungy. Expect a lot of Tampa 2.
Exactly.
And that's like what we do. You're going to get a mix of looks, which is nice.
A few things I did notice. He loves utilizing the nickel. In blitzes, in the box. It's a weapon.
You talked about it being a 4-2-5?
Not yet. But
that's where the nickel really is such a big part, because all of a sudden 4-2-5, you think that's pretty slanted towards the secondary. That nickel piece though is huge because that can really turn you into a 4-3-4.
Right.
A 4-3 as we'd call it. This is European soccer. Or and then you talked about the strong safety coming up from the box as well. Those 3 guys, your 2 safeties and then that nickel corner are what allows you to be so multiple and dynamic, because he's using them and how he schemes the back end in a variety of ways.
Exactly. They love defensive backs. They would. So I watched the San Francisco game.
Yeah.
And San Francisco likes a lot of big packages. They like to bring in the fullback. They like to do 2 tight ends. They like to do it all at the same time. They'll go 22. But he didn't just stack the box with big bodies. Like, he did bring in extra defensive linemen to try and combat that, but he still had like 6 defensive backs on the field.
Yeah.
Like, the speed is part of what makes this defense go.
For sure. For sure. And I mean, that versatility. And
Exactly.
I liked how then you highlighted the role of Bates.
Jesse Bates was just, I mean, he's just the type of player that you kind of give free reign to.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you kind of just let the player and his instincts dictate, you know, what's going to happen, basically. But he used them all over the field. They'd put him deep, way the hell back there in single high. They'd bring him into the box. Jesse Bates was great, just like swimming around, like pulling guards and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
multiple clips of that stuff of him doing that in just like the 3 games I watched.
I like how you highlighted speed, keeping guys close to the line of scrimmage. DBs close to the line of scrimmage seems to be a big thing from your piece.
Yep.
There's always maybe one high safety of sorts, you know, cover one of sorts at worst, but then the nickel you're playing up high, close to the line of scrimmage. And that free safety might even be playing close to the line of scrimmage and then, you know,
they'll bail
to go back. So you're, even though there's not a lot of guys on that second line that where the linebackers would be, you actually have a ton of defenders on that kind of creating a fence almost,
Yes.
you know? So you do need speed because you need recovery speed to go deep. You also need speed to come downhill. And you need your safeties to be able to do a little bit of both, come down and tackle and, you know, play closer to the line of safety, but then bail and cover a lot of ground in a short amount of time.
So a lot of people get like really excited about Shilo and Cam and these guys for good reason with Coach Livingston. But for me, it's the young guys, especially someone like Carter Stoutmeyer, who just changed positions. Jaden Milner-Jones last year, who played a decent amount as a freshman in the back end. Like, those are the guys I'm most excited about to see what he can do with them and what he can mold them into, as opposed to some of these other guys who are like, they got 1 year and they got to just have a great year to go to the draft.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in the last part of this article, I kind of talked about the search and stuff. There's a nugget in there. Head on over to DNVR.com and you can figure out what it is.
Look for the old nugget.
Yep.
I saw that too and was like, wait, who?
Dropped a little something in there.
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
Something for everyone to chew and ponder on.
That's right. That's right. That's great. And then you even highlighted how sometimes you'll bring in a 5th defensive lineman to counter bigger, heavier schemes, you know, which I thought was really interesting. So I just... if he's to take some of the teachings from, you know, Lou and some of the stuff he was already doing on the back end as the secondary coach for Cincinnati, expect a lot of different looks and a lot of versatility, and how he attacks that more spread out college game is going to be really interesting to see.
I mean, main takeaway is that, yes, this is a name that wasn't really, you know, a lot of people saw it and went, who? But the more you learn about this guy and the more you learn about where he came from, what he did in Cincinnati, he survived a coaching change too.
Yep.
Like, to be an assistant to do that, like, that didn't happen here at Colorado when Coach Prime came in, you know? Like, no one survived that, basically. I think that's just a testament to the quality of coach we're getting here. So,
Young, can develop, can tell you about the NFL and what he's seen as a scout to, you know, get guys to the next level. And, yeah, that scheme is just really intriguing. And I think it's also a scheme... You know, it's not like you're going from... It's not a crazy change from what we were talking about a year ago.
Yes.
It really isn't with Charles Kelly. So I think that also should help the transition quite a bit.
It's probably going to look very similar to what we saw last year. Like, to, you know, an untrained eye or a football novice, they probably won't even notice really much of a difference.
Right.
So,
Yeah, that's a good point.
we'll see. All right, shout out to Circle K. We got these delicious peach rings.
They've got such great snacks.
I know. Having this Circle K cart right here is it's dangerous.
Danger. Yeah, and all sorts of amazing offers.
Of course.
Join the app.
Oh, yeah. Join the inner circle. Are you in the inner circle, Dre?
Dude, I'm so in the inner circle. I'm getting other people in my inner circle to join the inner circle.
Let's go.
Trying to get these gas discounts, you know? It's like the olden days when I'm at the pump now with Circle K.
First 5 Phillips, 25 cents off a gallon.
That's right.
That's saving some money right there.
Yeah.
You also get your first 5 Polar Pops free, every 6 free on several items such as pizza, roller grills, dispensed beverages, donuts, and more. You can also get a free any size Polar Pop from Colorado Circle K's by texting DNVR to 31310. That's DNVR to the number 31310. Message and data rates may apply. Periodic recurring messages per month. Terms and conditions can be reviewed at CircleK.com. Sign up with the QR code on the screen right there, or go to CircleK.com/inner-circle for more information.
Boom.
Do you want to tell the people about Infinity Park?
Infinity Park. What a time. The bar was packed.
Yeah, it was.
It was packed. Was that Thursday right there?
That was Friday.
Friday, yeah. It was a good time. It was early, too. And we just had a great crowd watching.
We just finished the show.
Watching some rugby, man. Their in-stadium experience is so cool. They've been such an awesome partner. You've been out and done some stuff with them.
Yeah.
They're terrific.
I went out to Infinity Park for the first time last summer, and I was really impressed. It was really cool.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, you're a old Buffs aficionado. You long for the triple option days. Infinity Park's got you covered.
Rugby's just a great game.
It sure is. It sure is, Jake.
It's the best.
Yeah. You got that right.
Right now, you can head on over to AmericanRaptors.com to get your tickets. The season starts on Sunday, March 17th. Tickets are only $10. Bring your friends, bring your family. I also believe kids get in free, right?
I think that's right, Jake. Yes.
So there you go. Hit up American Raptors, AmericanRaptors.com.
That actually sounds like an amazing time. I need to do that. I need to take the kiddo.
Yeah, it sounds like fun.
It sure does. Okay.
All right. Beautiful day, by the way. I'm almost like overdressed with the hoodie.
Legendary. Yeah, I am too.
Well,
I also wore too much red today for being on this pod. I apologize. I wasn't.
It's Nuggets red up top, though.
That is Nuggets
What's
red.
going on with the shirt might be a little more controversial.
It's my Armani Milan stupid basketball team.
Ah, okay.
So that's their colors, you know?
Fair enough.
That's right.
All right, let's get fired up.
Yeah, it sounds like it, Jake. It sure sounds like it.
All right. 247 Sports is the enemy today.
Man, who would have thunk it?
I know. Usually on our side with it.
Yep.
But
instead, today, they chose violence.
Over the weekend, this article came out from Carter Bands. Bonds? Bands. There's an H in there.
You'd know better than me.
I don't know.
Bonds. Yes. You got to open your mouth wide to say that name. Bonds.
But he wrote up college football's best quarterback wide receiver duos for the 2024 season.
Uh-huh. Right.
Let's just go from let's count it down from 10 here.
Okay.
Number 10.
We can do that.
Is a combo who hasn't really done anything, at least on the quarterback side.
Totally.
That's Jackson Arnold and Nick Anderson out of Oklahoma.
Yep. Okay, well, they're at 10. Who can criticize them? Yeah.
Right, yeah. I mean, they're taking a shot on a highly touted quarterback.
Right.
Can't blame them there.
Right. Probably like 30 other more accomplished combos that you could have picked, but
probably. They're taking a little shot.
Get your clicks. That's fine. Jackson Arnold, second-year quarterback. We'll see what he can do with the Sooners in the SEC. I'm highly optimistic.
I will say Nick Anderson, though, decent season last year as a redshirt freshman.
Well, if you're top 10 in the country, decent is what we strive for, I guess.
I mean, 38 receptions, almost
blown away.
798 yards. That's 21.
Dude, that's Those averages are...
That's not, yeah.
Yeah. I'm
With
you.
10
I'm with you.
touchdowns.
Boom. There you go.
Fair enough, right?
Yeah.
Next one. Number 9, Ohio State. Will Howard and Emeka Egbuka.
Okay, we're getting hyped here.
Egbuka was, I'd say, at many points during the season, figured to be a first-round player.
Yes.
Comes back to school, though.
Big time. He got that bag.
He got that bag. He's coming back for his senior season.
Yep.
He had a great 2022, over 1,000 yards, 10 touchdowns, but last year,
He did.
only 515 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Crazy, huh? Keep these numbers in mind.
I know some wide receivers that outproduce that.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Well, they must have a really good quarterback with a long track record of success. then.
Oh, of course. Will Howard.
Oh, gosh. He wasn't even the full-time starter to start the season for Kansas State last year.
Yep, Will Howard.
Top 9 in the country.
Top 9.
Oh, man. Wow.
We're betting a lot on Chip Kelly here.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I can't blame him.
Or
but
maybe leaning into Oklahoma and Ohio State and a little program reputation.
There you go.
Oh, okay.
could be that.
Okay, we understand it.
Last year, Will Howard played in 12 games, only threw 357 passes, 2,600 yards, 24-10 touchdown to interception ratio.
Keep those numbers in mind. Keep those numbers
Keep
in mind.
those numbers in mind.
Totally.
Number 8, Jackson Dart
Yeah.
and Trey Harris. Where are you
Okay.
at with Jackson Dart? Do you have a Jackson Dart take? for
Not
us?
terrible. Not terrible. This is the first combo where I'm like, yeah, those guys probably are top 10 in the country.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. That checks out. Jackson Dart, fun. Good enough to win like double digits with the lane train scheming them up.
Right.
And doesn't have it for the big game to get over the hump, you know. So that's a bit of a problem for Jackson Dart. Slightly limited ceiling, but I appreciate his game.
Steady increase in his numbers throughout the years. I mean, that first year at USC only played 6 games. And then his second full-time year at Ole Miss last year upped his completion percentage to 65, 3,300 passing yards, 23-5. Not bad.
Not bad.
Trey Harris.
Trey Harris having a good little career. He's coming
Yep.
back for a 5th year.
Yep.
Back-to-back 900-yard seasons, 18 tuds the last 2 years combined. Okay, we got a legit comp. You did it, 247. Took you 3 tries, but we have a legit top 10 combo, and you're not just BS and trying to get clicks from bigger programs. Good job by you.
Number 7,
Woo!
Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter. Only the 7th best wide receiver quarterback combo in the nation.
Right. You're not going, it's an honor to be nominated on this one, huh?
No, we're not showing up to the award show on this one. Are you kidding me?
We're boycotting the award.
We don't
show
want your
altogether.
participation trophy.
Yeah, I love this. Okay, good.
I mean, come on. Shedeur threw 27-3. He had 31 total touchdowns when you factor in the rushes. He completed 69.3% of his passes with the worst offensive line in college football.
Hey-o.
Travis Hunter only played in 9 games but had 700 receiving yards, 57 receptions, and 5 touchdowns.
Oh
Should have
my
had
gosh.
more because he had 2 touchdowns back-to-back taken from him in the Utah game.
Whoa. Well, if you weren't paying attention, that's more than Emeka Egbuka
Yeah.
in fewer games.
Yes.
Gosh,
Crazy,
shocking. Take that for data, but they are ahead of all the combos we have listed already.
Yep.
That they're coming to get you,
247.
Mr. Barnes. They saw the pod. They're like, oh man, he's in critical condition. Doesn't know ball. It's an affliction many have. They'll come get you though. They'll
That's
come
fair.
get you. Okay, number 6.
Number 6 right after that. Brady Cook and Luther Burden the third.
We're big LB3 guys out here.
He was one of my favorite players to watch last season.
Now, if Brady Cook is more of a dual threat and gives you more as a runner than a thrower, is that a legit candidate for best wide receiver quarterback combo if the quarterback isn't throwing it as much as the other quarterbacks he's going against? Wouldn't that be a better one for like best backfield combos?
Are we seeing SEC bias here?
Oh my God. No, that couldn't be, Jake. I don't think SEC bias exists.
Well, it continues at number 5, Dre. Carson Beck and Dominic Lovett out of Georgia.
Wow. Dominic hate it is what I would say about this ranking. Would they even rank higher than the Shedeur Jimmy combo?
No. Dominic Lovett last year had 54 receptions, 613 yards, and 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, no, I mean he's more of a Jimmy. He's more in the Jimmy Horn tier.
Yes,
big Jimmy guy over here.
Mm-hmm.
But you're behind Shedeur and Travis. I'm sorry, that's just the
easily.
Deal. Yeah,
number 4.
And Brady Cook is just a worse quarterback than Shedeur Sanders.
Absolutely, not even close.
Dang.
Number 4, a quarterback on a new team again. Cam Ward and Xavier Restrepo out of Miami.
This one is tragic error was made here.
I'll give credit to Restrepo. He's produced.
Oh, Restrepo, great. I swear there's a Restrepo who's like a female cop in one of the cop shows. Someone, if anyone knows what I'm talking about, please.
All I remember is the damn war documentary, bro.
Do we have a nomination? Cam Ward, however.
Look, we like Cam Ward here.
No, we're pro Cam Ward guys. Great content at the Pac-12 Media Days. He's a Shedeur guy, right?
Yeah, Coach Darrell Taylor, Select QB Athletics.
Cam Ward.
He's going to a new team. I'm sorry.
He also has not outplayed Shedeur the second half of the last 2 years.
How can a combo
look like garbage?
How can a combo we haven't seen yet be over all these ones? It makes no sense. Number 3.
It's a great point. And just Cam Ward is... I don't know why the Cam Ward love keeps... no one's gotten more hype than Cam Ward over a 3-year span for just starting hot and then regressing the second half of the year. I've lost so much money on Cam Ward offenses.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
All due respect to Cam Ward, though.
It's just very inconsistent.
Number 3.
Yeah. This one I approve of.
If there was a combo to rival Shedeur and Travis, it'd be Noah Fafita and Teteroa McMillan.
Yepers.
We don't even have to go into depth here. That's just
very good.
Valid.
Finished off the season hot. The argument for Fafita is he only came along second half of the year, but no. I mean, we'll see how they do without Cowing in there.
Yep.
And new coach and all that. But yeah, highly encouraging.
With Dino Babers at OC.
Dude. Dino Babers is a nickname I have for my wife, of course. Babers, and then you can go with the Dino Babers,
So when are you going to start calling her Dino?
Oh, sure. But it fits all. Never forget Dino Babers' tenure at Syracuse. Real ones know about that.
Yeah, that was a shooting star if there ever was one.
Sure, well, he resurrected the program.
Definitely.
They were in a big New Year's Six bowl.
Yep, they were good.
And then just back on down.
They took it to Clemson a lot of times when Clemson was really good.
They did.
Number 2, another combination that has yet to actually throw a pass together in a real game. Oregon's Dylan Gabriel and Tez Johnson. And look,
Tez Johnson's a baller.
Respect to Tez Johnson.
Yep.
Dylan Gabriel, I just haven't been a fan. He's been in college football for 80 years now.
Yep.
This is his 3rd team.
Yeah, a little, almost like poor man's Bo Nix in some ways. Very UCF-y type quarterback.
That's where he came from.
Correct. But yeah, we don't know the combo. And seeing this combo only makes me more upset for the number 10 combo of complete unknowns. Well, Dylan Gabriel's played in college football before.
Fair, of course. But number 1, another combo we haven't seen. Texas's Quinn Ewers and Isaiah Bond, former Alabama wide receiver.
And Isaiah Bond, I think his appeal is more as a jack of all trades, like offensive weapon. He's not just like a straight up outside wide receiver,
48 receptions last year, 668 yards and 4 touchdowns. That's the number one wide receiver and the best QB wide receiver combination according
Travis
to 247.
outproduced him in that.
In like a little over half the games. Travis only played 9 games last year.
I'll just go, to go a slightly unbiased route. We're draft guys.
Yes.
Shedeur, when people still thought he may have been in the draft.
Right.
And people were still putting Ewers and Carson Beck in those rankings.
Right.
Outrank them. Which jives with how we feel. Shedeur is the higher rated prospect at quarterback.
Definitely.
Going into this offseason. Travis Hunter, now, Travis has the added factor that he plays cornerback at a lockdown level. Travis, though, also higher. And if you just need to see Travis's value at wide receiver, look at the stats that Jake cited consistently while going through that list compared to these other guys while only being healthy for 9 games last season.
Yep.
That's the top combo right there.
You would think. But there's also this like thought that now that Travis is going into his final year of college that, he's got to pick a position at this point. It's like Travis wants to play both.
He plays both at elite level.
Yes, he's going to play both.
People they don't watch ball, and then they can be like, because they don't watch, they get closed-minded and like really defensive and double down on like stupid preconceived notions they have.
Yeah.
Very annoying.
Very annoying.
That was fun.
That was fun. So there you go. The first time we've really dug into national disrespect.
Oh.
Just looking past Shedeur and Travis, basically. It's like they forgot about them and they're like, oh shit, 7.
Right. I think they should have ranked Shedeur and Jimmy and then Shedeur and Travis.
You could have done Shedeur and... I mean, if we're doing combinations that haven't played together, where's Shedeur and LeJohntay Wester? Where's Shedeur and Will Shepard?
Right. They could have had 5 nominees in the top 10.
Sure.
I think that'd be more legit than Dominic Hate It, And then next they should do the most trustworthy backfields. And let's see where Shedeur and Dylan rank.
Yeah.
Or
Alto coming back?
Or Alto.
Yes, sir. All right. Shout out to our friends over at American Financing.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of us struggling to keep up with everyday bills. Everything's still really expensive. Homeowners, you have a way out of this credit card spiral. If you own a home, I want you to call our friends at American Financing and tell them DNVR sent you.
Woo.
They're saving customers an average of $854 a month by tapping into their home's equity and wiping out high-interest credit card debt. Their job is to save you money. They care about your success. Saving a few $100s a month can make all the difference. They're a local Colorado-based company, but are licensed in all 50 states, so they can help you anywhere. Hit up American Financing. Give them a call at 303-695-7000. That's 303-695-7000. Or go to americanfinancing.net/DNVR. NMLS 182334, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
My
Boom.
guy knows ball.
And then shout out to us.
Let's go.
If you're enjoying the content, consider becoming a DNVR diehard member.
Yes.
The perks are pretty much endless.
Free shirt every year. Discounts on all our merch. Discounts at the DNVR bar. Discounts on DNVR events. Basically, if you're planning on buying like 2 T-shirts this year and attending one event, it's paid for itself. On top of that, exclusive content only that diehards get. On top of that, join the DNVR Lounge.
That's the number
Elite.
one. Yes.
And exclusive merch drops. There's just awesome perks, and you get to support us, support all that we do. Never hurts, man. It's a crazy media environment then. So we need your support, Buff Nation, as Jake would say. And, our guys put in the hard work. So check it out. We highly encourage you to become a member and give us a try and support us.
Yes, more diehard content is coming very soon. And I can't emphasize this Discord enough. That's where I drop a lot of things I know that I won't share publicly.
Oh my god!
So if you want to ask questions and just know more about the team than basically anyone, join the DNVR Discord, DNVR Lounge.
Dang, what a team!
How about that?
Oh my! I'm gonna buy another membership. I think
There might be a scoop in there in the last 5 messages.
God, what?
Check it
Oh
out.
my gosh, we're checking it out. We out here. Kyle,
All right, let's get to questions. many
hammer
do we
that
got?
like button, please.
Yeah, hit the like button. Also subscribe. Someone told me that YouTube unsubscribed them from our channel. So
Whoa.
double check that you're subscribed.
Holy.
This kind of weird shit just happens on the internet. So you might have been unsubscribed
Right.
without even knowing it. So
Right.
just double check
Right.
and hit that subscribe button.
Dang. Tell us, guys. I'll come after YouTube like I did 247 for
you go.
rating Cam Ward and Z Restrepo ahead of Travis and Shedeur.
All right. Kyrie with the question, with Dawson leaving, does this improve the chances of the freshman wide receivers playing? I definitely. I mean, I think that those guys stayed around, or the staff kept those guys on commitments for a reason. Like, they do want older players, obviously, through the portal, but Draylon Miller and Cam Michael, you just put on the tape. Cam Michael is going to be one of the fastest guys on the team. And Draylon Miller is just dynamic.
Well, both those guys have some real versatility to play on
Exactly.
the back end and would really fit Livingston's scheme. So either way, those are incredibly valuable pieces to
Yep.
next year's roster.
Eric, what's up? Do you think the hiring of Pat Shurmur could land Juju Lewis? Based on what Juju said to On3, it sounded like it. I mean, he basically said that he's intrigued by Pat Shurmur's just track record. And I think this is something that we tried to talk about, that, you know, we have a lot of crossover with Broncos country.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a lot of concern over Pat Shurmur, but kids see these like experienced, seasoned NFL minds in Colorado, and they go, like, that's who I wanted to be coached by in 4 or 5 years from now. Like,
Right. Absolutely.
So we'll see.
Yeah. No, I mean, and it's also different. Like Pat Shurmur a couple of years ago when he was talked about as a potential candidate to take the Michigan State head coach job. Okay, maybe that's right. Like that's a different pitch in kids' living rooms than come play for me in my pro style scheme and get coached by me because I know what it takes, and also have Coach Prime backing you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. David, do we think Kofi Taylor-Barrocks can break out at inside linebacker this year at 6'3", 220? He could be a big boost to that room. Definitely. He's in there. Victory Johnson and Morgan Pearson. Those are the three guys from last year who are the young incoming 3-stars who didn't really see too much of the field.
Well, and I mean, with tight end, I think that's about one of the most wide open rooms as far as competition going into, the spring.
Right. Definitely.
So everyone's got a real shot there,
We were big Morgan Pearson fans last offseason, but we liked what we saw from Kofi Taylor-Barrocks too. He's another guy who's still kind of learning the game. He comes from that NFL, God, I can't remember the name of it. It's the NFL International Program for kids in England.
Yes.
So that's how he's made it to Colorado.
That's exciting.
Yeah, pretty cool. BP, can high school seniors play spring game?
This question came through when you mentioned some of the guys who would be coming on campus, Dre and
Draylon and Cam Michael. Yeah, no, they're going to enroll in the next semester. They won't even be enrolled.
Right.
So,
but there are early enrollees, right? That can happen for college kids, and that's what Big C's doing, right?
yeah, Seton. Who else? Micah Welsh, of course.
Yeah. I mean, there's several on that list.
Cash Cleveland, the center from IMG. Who else do we have on here? Eric Brantley's on here.
So do you want to explain how that works exactly? Like basically as a high school senior, you graduate in January after your first semester.
Right.
And you're able to enroll early that way.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked a lot about early enrollment, and that's the key to getting to campus early.
Right.
You have to graduate at least a whole semester early in December. Be done, have all your credits, be done with high school, ready to go into college once the spring semester starts in January. And that's why these guys are here. That's why they're working out here. They're on the team. They're enrolled. So
Right.
I'm sure we'll see. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Cam Michael and Draylon Miller at the game, though, just like there. So
Totally. I mean, what even? I won't.
Be well. Do you feel like Shilo and Cormani earned their numbers? I don't. I mean, I don't know how you can say Shilo didn't. Shilo is
Yeah, no, I think what Shilo did on the field last year speaks for itself. Cormani played in more games.
Here's the thing with Cormani. Cormani was a 5-star. They treated him like one. And he's expected to be the guy. Like, Cam took his number of 7. That's Cormani's number. That's what he would have wanted, I'm sure, if he had the chance.
That's true.
Cam took it. That's also his number. Cormani got the 1. I don't think there was a doubt in our mind when we looked at the roster last year. We said, okay, Travis should be 1. He doesn't want 1, he wants 12. Cormani's 1 then. That's just how it should work.
Right. And I mean, there'll be lots of milestones this offseason to earn or unearn numbers.
Definitely.
You know, the web pages are sometimes behind where the actual roster and how things are advancing in camp. I mean,
right.
I think this is more a roster that's just listing the numbers that they had last year, right?
Exactly.
Even Bishop still has a number on here, right? Even though stuff's happened this offseason. So I wouldn't read too much into it when it gets back to earn your number season for Coach Prime. I think maybe that could be open back up for sure.
Well, and we don't have an offensive one. Like Draylon Miller or Cam Michael could be the one this year on offense. You know what I mean? Or
right.
Dylan wanted to switch to the 1 or something. So
right.
The Outcast says, "Can we get an interview with Gage Goldberg?" I'd love to. I'll work on it. Just for you, Outcast.
Wow. Asking you shall receive. Quick.
Yeah.
No dancing around it.
Eric Johnson says, "I'm from Pittsburgh. I plan on coming to the bar. Are you there often, Jake? I need a pick for the gram."
Wow.
If you're coming for a game here, that's a little tougher because we'll be on the road every road game, and then I've obviously be in Boulder.
Yeah.
But if you're here during the week, just let me know. Shoot me a DM on the Buffs account or on
Yeah,
my
plans
Twitter
on
account.
coming to the bar, though, you know.
Yeah,
so,
definitely.
Later in the week when we're open for lunch works well while the pod's going on. It's not a bad way to go about it.
And Shelly's asking, when are you going to create an online DNVR diehard membership? You have a lot of fans outside of Boulder. Also now with Coors Light, you got to step it up. We already have it. It's there. Sign up.
Oh, diehard members. yeah, sign up, please. TheDNVR.com. Go to subscribe. Look at all the stuff. And check that out. But Shelly, we do that very much. Very much.
You'll get a free shirt.
Every year.
Yes.
You sign up, free shirt. Renew, free shirt.
And then hop in the Discord with us. We're just hanging out in there.
Dang. I love that so much.
It's my favorite part of the whole thing is talking with the guys in the Discord.
It's a good deal.
More
It's a good
nuggets
deal.
get dropped there too.
Right.
So,
And not just on the Denver Nuggets.
No, not just the Denver Nuggets. Thank you, Dre.
Yeah. But there's that too. If that interests you, we offer that.
Exactly. You can chat with our Broncos,
Holy
our
cow.
Nuggets and Avs diehards too.
Oh my gosh.
If you so dare, actually, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it.
Oh, we had the same.
I'm not going to say it.
Do not become a member to troll our Rams community. We are not encouraging
Do not
you
do
to
that.
do that.
Please,
That
God,
would
do
be-
not do that.
Come on, once you're in, respect. Okay, let's be respectful.
We do. There is respect, but we do have people who jump in and out who just like want to ask questions.
Totally.
Like, it's
Totally.
cool. So
Speaking Rams, I think BFN and Torrey Horton have a better case for combos in the top 10.
they
than
certainly
some
had
of the
more
ones that were in.
stats.
You know, not
Valid point, man.
yeah. Pretty disappointing. 247, you really dropped the ball. I hope the ambulance has reached you so that they're getting you the medical help you need.
All right, the trolls are showing up in the chat. It's time to get out of here.
Okay. For a word on T. Dawson, top of the show.
It's like the first thing we talked about today.
Yep. First 5 minutes, your thirst will be quenched for T. Dawson news.
There you go. Hit the like button on the way out. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. You want to do this again tomorrow?
Let's do it, man. I'm all in.
Tears Day with Dre?
Whoa, Tears Day.
Tears Dre?
I'm all in.
Let's go.
I'll bring the tears, whether that's ranking tears or tears out of my eyes. I'm prepared no matter what the context, Jake.
Can't wait. All right, let's go Buffs.
What a pleasure.
We all silly like the mayor.